Hi, this is the first micro learning video of a series we're going to be doing from the Secondary Reading Language Arts Department in San Antonio ISD. All these little micro learning videos will be around the ECR, and this first one is called Keeping It Simple. So, yeah, to move on, just what are we trying to do? What is a micro learning video? Short, 5 to 7 minutes. What we want to do is provide something super efficient for you to make sure that we are all sharing our best knowledge around how to build the best performance for the ECR. So these videos will be super targeted with just-in-time information and suggestions that you can immediately choose to apply in your classrooms. That being said, let's first talk about this star ECR. I think it's really helpful to think of it as yet another genre that we need to teach our students, and think of the star as as test as it's a genre, right? It's a test, it's one type of writing, and it will not be the end all be all writing that we have our students produce when they're graduating, but it is a necessary stepping stone. We will build more nuanced writing as students progress and as we all learn how to internalize this ECR. But I think it's important to remember that STAR is only asking for a subset of writing skills, and we just need to get better about making sure our students are ready to deliver on that subset before we can move on to building nuance within the STAR context. Okay, so that being said, let's talk through this rubric. Y'all are familiar with this. We know that a student can get a total of 10 points on the full STAR test via the ECR. And how that breaks down is they get one score of up to 5 for their ECR that is then weighted twice. And that's how you get the 10 points. So via the rubric, we can see that a student can get up to 3 points for organization and development of ideas. We'll get into this later on in another series, and up to 2 points for conventions. But what do these things mean? I understand that we've got criteria on the rubric, but it's really helpful to go into the TEA scoring guides, and we'll link that so that you can see those and analyze at different score points what TEA is saying a 6 looks like, for example. And we get a lot of good information from those scoring guides. Now, teachers and our team for secondary reading language arts, we've analyzed scoring guides from TEA, and we were thinking about what is a good approachable goal, right? Achievable goal. And for most students, just getting a 6 on the rubric is a great goal to have, especially when we're considering some students who didn't even attempt to write an essay last year, or maybe who answered a question, wrote something, but still got a 0, right? Or we can build on that and certainly get our students to a 6. So what we did was we looked at all of the essays that were around a 6, meaning they got a 2 probably on organization and development, maybe a 1 on conventions, and then weighted twice, that would be a 6. What you see here are the components of a 6 for middle school, grade 6, 7, and 8. This is it. This is all the students were typing into that box. They had a controlling idea or a thesis that truly answered the prompt. They had an average of 2 solid pieces of evidence with explanation provided in their own words. And then they had some kind of ending statement that reiterated the controlling idea or thesis. That's it. Notice we're not listing things like hooks. We're not listing things like sophisticated transitions between paragraphs. We're not even saying paragraphs because honestly, when you look at that 6, paragraphs weren't necessarily part of 6s and even higher. TEA doesn't seem to be scoring on the number of paragraphs or how many sentences. They're really scoring and looking for the components that you see in front of you. This is middle school. This is high school. You can see we have some additional pieces here. High school students that were scoring a 6 tended to have some context about the text before moving into their thesis. They tended to introduce their evidence with like a topic sentence. Of course, the 2 pieces of evidence were essential for getting a 6 and higher. And then we saw reasoning provided in their own words for that evidence, finishing off with a reiteration of the thesis and a so what statement, though that didn't seem to be requirement, but it's just one of those things that we saw in general when we're looking at a six. So keeping it simple is going to be very important. We don't want to overteach because we only have so much instructional time. And we suggest that you consider these things to be a checklist of sorts, and confer with students. Look at every student and where they're at on the continuum of these things and coach in to make sure that they, at least at bare minimum, understand and can produce these components in their writing. That's it. Again, these were supposed to be small chunk, like teeny tiny chunks, for our learning, and we'll be back with another topic. Thanks so much and see y'all later.